Hello, everyone. We are excited for this session that we have been planning for the longest time possible. We have been planning it from last week and last month, and right now we're here with the one and only Anna. And
Thank you.
and thank you so much for really coming here and being a presence also, not only to female founders, but also African founders. And I feel like you are the epicenter of what we're going to talk about today. And I think I'm just going to take a little bit. You can tell us who you are, what you do, and we can kickstart this session.
Amazing. So first of all, I have to say that I'm really excited to be here with you because I think ever since our eye-opening conversation that we have had, I started digging more into the African ecosystem of VCs, and I'm very thrilled for the opportunity to share not only my experiences but also the mindset and the tools that I'm going to cover, specifically to help African founders really kick the system's ass. So I'm already in advance apologizing. I'm very blunt in everything I say and everything I do, so don't take it personally. And I appreciate bluntness in return, so feel free yourself to do it. So basically, again, Anna Mazarsky, and I'm the founder of PinkX and the Power Core platform. And I've been in fundraising for the last 2 decades. Started with the it's really I wasn't a kid and said one day, yes, I want to be a fundraiser. I actually want to be a pharmacist, but ended up falling in love with fundraising just by chance. I got in this, started with charities, and then started my own pitch deck creation and design company, and then I evolved into coaching and VC readiness and preparedness, etc., etc. And I actually ended up focusing on female founders, which is very relevant to our case because I know that majority is female, but it's also very underrepresented founders. I think it also has a very similar characteristics. By chance, like we moved to Greece, and I had the spare time, and I found out that only 2.3% of VC money goes to all female founded teams. And being an empowerment woman, it got me upset. But I said, okay, maybe there's not enough women in the pipeline. Usually this is the usual thing that people are saying. Yeah, there's not enough women in STEM. Girls don't go to physics. Girls don't code. Blah blah blah. So this was also
Yeah.
my first thought. Maybe there aren't enough women to justify this 2.3%. And I actually started reading more and more researches, and I started looking for. My first thought was to find that I was right, that there is not enough women in the pipeline. I was wrong. There are so many women in the pipeline. More than third of the companies are being founded by women, so the 2% is not justified. And then I dug deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper, and I went to this rabbit hole of reasons for the 2.3%. And it's the system, the questions that we are being asked. We're asking lower numbers, we're getting lower numbers, we've been judged on different metrics. It's like the whole system is fundamentally biased against women. It would not
So,
say it out loud. It's like, I think if we're taking the Africa case, I doubt that any investor will say, yes, I'm not investing in Africa because it's Africa or because Africa matters.
yeah.
However, the bias is there. And by not acknowledging that the bias is
True.
there across all of its characteristics, I think we're shooting ourselves in the leg. And so basically, what I did was that I created a whole new system to win inside the system. I'm not going to change the investors. I'm not going to educate investors. it's been done. But I feel like the way I see it, if we arm the founders with better tools and understanding and acknowledging that the system is broken, we can win.
True, very, very true. And thank you, Anna, for showing up and wanting to represent the underrepresented founders that are in Africa. And before we continue, I know so many young to hear from you, and so many founders here in Africa really want to hear from you. I just want to get to the people who have joined us at the moment, and you can just give us a reaction or a comment section, and make sure you tag one person you feel like should be in this conversation. If it's a founder or a friend of yours who really wants to get funding or wants to understand what VCs actually really want. That's why we have Anna in the building at the moment. So before we continue, just give us some reaction and some energy before we start, because that's what we need at the moment. This is a very important conversation that everybody should be here to listen to. So, Anna, I know that a lot of founders believe that fundraising is about maybe a great idea, a strong pitch deck, and maybe even a little bit of traction, right? So behind closed doors, there's some deals being made, being decided for reason founders don't fully understand. They don't understand what's going on. So before we get into the frameworks, the tactics, I just want to understand the human side of your work. So one thing I need to know is what led you to build Pink X Sparkle? And there's a specific moment where you decided that you saw how fundraising actually works. You can give us a little storyline of what happened behind the scenes that made you want to start Pink X Sparkle.
So, in general, I thrive on objections. This is kind of like a systematic thing across the life. Somebody says it's not possible. I need to check if it's not possible for real. And like I told you that I read the data that only 2% of the money goes to women, and I started digging in. I spoke with a friend who's also a colleague, coach in a completing field, because up until that point where I started Pink X Parkour, I was a fundraising coach, right? I was working one-on-one. I did the coaching, how to create a story, how to prepare for meetings, how to communicate in a meeting, how to answer questions, like everything I'm now doing with the platform. I used to do one-on-one with my founders. um, and I loved it. Like I love working with founders. But and then a friend of mine, when I shared her thought, like I originally my thought was, yes, I will only coach women. This was basically my first thought of, yeah, I will continue my coaching only with women. And then she says, nah, I'm sick of having all of these women only focused initiative. We have so many, it's not really needed. And she's a very good friend that I value her opinion. And at first it took me back, I have to say, because maybe she's right. Like, maybe there are so many initiatives that are for women. So I did what I know how to do best. I went and I started checking the facts. And I started asking the question, are there really enough initiatives to really move the needle? And as you can imagine, if I were already here and speaking, the answer was no. There are so many special funds, and there are so many accelerators, and there are so many coaches, and so many articles of being confident and controlling and blah 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 blah. Really, it's a lot. It's not enough, but it's a lot. It's true. However, none of them has moved the needle. Like, right? Because the way I see it, if there are so many initiatives, so the 2.3% in the last decade should have moved. Like it's been 2.4% a decade ago, it's been 2.5 during COVID, which is the lockdown, and which was the lowest point, and now we're 2.3%, and it depends on the country and etc. In Africa, it's even worse. I'm sorry. Women, female only in Africa, it's 0.9%, which made me in shock.
Oh.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And it's like a smaller cake and a smaller piece of the pie in this pie.
Yeah.
And so I really want you to win after this webinar. And
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of like, let's break the system even better here. And so it actually made me very furious to see that not only that there's not enough, we think that there is enough.
Yeah.
And those initiatives that are existing are like, patting themselves on the shoulder. Yeah, look, I'm giving out $100,000 as a grant, which really isn't nothing, because if a woman needs $2 million, 100,000 will not move anything.
True.
It's
Mm-hmm.
nice. It's a
Very.
good recognition. And then you're only giving this 100,000 to 40, but you have 1,100 that are waiting. So I realized this is not the solution, and I need something that is scalable, affordable,
Mm-hmm.
accessible, and
Mm-hmm.
addresses every single shitty aspect of the system,
Mm-hmm.
both for the regular problematic of every founder anywhere,
Mm-hmm.
the pitch deck, the regular stuff,
Yeah.
and this is like the strong part that I'm really really excited about,
Yeah.
and the bias aware.
True.
Even by the way, part of the bias is that women are under asking them, like we're shooting ourselves in the leg. We're asking 55% less of our female or for male counterpart. Like for
Oh
the
wow.
same company, same stage, same industry, whatever, even similar attractions, the guys, will
Yeah.
ask for 2.5 million dollars, for example, for a seed round. She
Mm-hmm.
will ask for 900. Like on average, we're under asking by 55% less, and we're getting less. So the checks, so it's so even that is part of the things that we need to address
Oh,
to solve.
that's really fascinating, really amazing because I didn't think of it in an aspect of also a courage issue for the women that we are underestimating ourselves. That we go to the investors, but we are asking less than what we could have also been given, and this is really important, and I really love that your pinpoints. And right now, what people need to hear at the moment is trying to understand what investors actually have in mind when a founder comes in. Because let's step into an investor's mind for a second, because you've worked with so many founders who've raised so much money. So when a founder walks into a room and are asking for funding. So, what are the investors really evaluating beyond a nice pitch deck? Because founders think it's all about the slides, and maybe it's not right. So, you're going to tell us about that. Where do founders really misunderstand positioning versus pitching?
It's this is one of my, like, the visual of the iceberg. Like, this is a very, like,
Mm-hmm.
in coaching they love it. You have the tip of the iceberg, which is what everybody else sees, and then you have below the iceberg, which is the real stuff that needs to be addressed. This visual, it's like 10 years ago it was like very popular. I don't know if it's still popular these days, but this stuck with me. The pitch
Yeah.
deck is the tip of the iceberg. This is what you kind of like show, and there's so much like people who are selling templates, the best templates, they take this template, right? But eventually
Yeah.
the pitch deck is really, 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 really just the iceberg. It's an important tip of the iceberg, but it's only there as the visual part. And if you focus on that part too much, um, you're kind of like you're losing it, because investors see thousands of pitch decks. And
True.
it's true that sometimes you need to have a really good design and a storyline and etc.
Yeah.
But eventually, there every investor, if it's like in a perfect world where we don't have any biases in the system, They're basically evaluating three things. Why you, why now, why this, right? This is like the main things. Why is this going to work? Why in this market? What is the big problem? And why you specifically are the founder who will make this happen. This is like in a very shallow sense. In the next part, when I will also share the presentation, I will get down to specifics of what makes them get this first impression and etc. So basically, the problem part is so crucial. Like again, I'm now speaking as the first for the pitch deck, right? How do you
Yeah.
prepare the pitch deck? In a perfect world, when they don't know that if you're a male or a woman, and if they don't know your origin,
Okay.
okay? We're not living in a perfect
Uh-huh.
world. However, if we were living in a perfect world, they will evaluate if your problem is articulated perfectly. Like if a 5-year-old can understand the problem that you're solving. For example, my favorite book on that
Okay.
is Uri Levin's Fall in Love with the Problem. It is like it's a very yellow book. I love it. And he is like the founder of Waze, the app. The I don't know if you have Waze
Okay.
in, I think you have it everywhere. And Google bought them like 10 years ago in a huge exit. And but it's a really, really good book because all it gets you is to really understand how falling in love with the problem, articulating it, how it's clearly understood for everyone, what is the real problem, what is the real pain that you're solving that nobody else and no other solution and no other current substitution is solving. If you're able to nail this from the first second, you're in a 99% chance of a much better position of going to the next stage. If your whole
Oh, amazing.
presentation and your whole pitch is all about algorithm, this is how, you're in the problem, you will not pass the first test. So problem is very important. And specifically the way you articulate the problem of why it hasn't been solved to the point where the customers are happy with the current solution. The current solutions can be a competitor, but it can all be way it could also be this is the way it's been done so far. It's a
Yeah.
competitor. Like the way things are, like many founders miss that point. This is why I'm saying many founders don't count the way things are done so far as a competition, but it is a competition. So it needs to be addressed. Why current solutions, including the automatic way it has been done for generations, for example. So this is part of it. And then the market needs to be not the Tamsam song we're going to capture 1%. Everyone can Google it. No, I will get to it later. Uh, and the why you. Now, the why you is in the personal
Okay.
aspect because they will only be certain of it when they will meet you. But these points
Yeah.
of problem and market and how they fit, this would these two in the pitch deck, if they're created properly, will get you into the room.
Amazing. Amazing. This is quite fascinating, and I really want to get to where you present and talk to us more deeply on whatever is one thing I've been curious about, and I really want to hear from you. It's two things. Are the red flags that investors actually see but never say it out loud? And also vice versa. What are the red flags that you should actually pinpoint to the investors and know that this is worth taking in and this is not worth taking in? So, what's something a founder has done maybe in a meeting that instantly killed the deal whenever they were trying to present, even if their startup will start good? So you can tell us that, and then we can hop into your presentation.
So I have to say something that many founders will not like me saying it. But if you're starting to get offensive on any type of question, hard or easy or personal, the second you are arguing or defensive, you lost. Okay? This under asking, it's a red flag. They will never say to you. but they will know that you are under asking, and they will not invest in under asking, because under asking equals not reaching the milestone, equals not reaching growth, equals not reaching the unicorn, equals they're still beginners. I'm not going to invest in them. They don't know their business. Okay, this is the meaning of under asking. This is why women lose
Wow.
automatically even before we open our
Uh-huh.
mouths.
Yeah.
And also other founders, it's more prevalent with women, but under asking is like, you have no idea how many founders automatically try to be reasonable with their ask instead of what do I need to reach my milestone ask. It's a
Yeah.
very two different calculations. And these are like the main red flags, and of course communication. But then if you have a really good problem and really good market, you can be really bad at communication and still get
Yeah.
them. But if you're starting to become defensive, offensive, you lost, like you literally lost. And if you don't know your numbers, of course, sorry, this is kind of like the fundamental. You don't know your
Wow.
numbers.
Uh-huh.
Even if like you're in a pre-seed and in the vision stage, right? In the vision stage, you don't have numbers. You basically have an
Yeah.
Excel that like you can do anything with an Excel.
Mm-hmm.
Like Excel loves all. However, even if you made up your Excel, and it's all based on assumptions that nobody has a chance of like
Mm-hmm.
no, it's going to be true, but you're so convinced in yourself that you're going to make it happen.
Yeah.
Know your numbers, like really your lifetime value of your customer, your cost of acquisition, like all of the small nitty gritty, the ratios, whatever, and not only know them and understand their meaning to your success or your failure. Because some
Mm-hmm.
founders have numbers, they pay to somebody who will do their financial modeling, but they don't understand the numbers.
True.
And then they don't
Very,
use them
very.
properly, or they miss the opportunities to use the numbers to show inevitability. So these are the main red flags. Again, in addition to the automatic bias, but it's like in general, it happens. And yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you so much for bringing that up. I feel like I am learning when I am hosting the session at the same time.
amazing.
Um, so I want to us to hop into your presentation, but before we start, please drop a comment of any question that you really want Anna to answer it in the chat. We can answer it in the chat, but we can also do it live. So if you have a burning question that needs addressing, you can also hit our DMs and we can always give you a stream link and you can broadcast your question here and we can address the question to most of us. I'm going to give it now back to Anna to present and give us the bangers that she has for us today. Welcome so much. Thank you so much, Anna, for being here and welcome.
Good. So thank you again. Drop any questions because later we will have a full Q&A session. So don't keep your questions to yourself. You want me to share the screen? I will. Lovely. Just a second. So share, present here. Full. Okay. And let me know. And technology these days is amazing, but sometimes it surprises us. So I just want you see the presentation now? Honestly. And now I lost you. Why did I lose you? Even if I don't see you, just drop a comment or whatever, because I just lost your volume. Uh, okay, let's see in the chat. Okay, now I hear you. Okay, so just because I for some reason the volume is disappears and I can it's disappeared and I cannot hear you. Um, So just drop me a message if you hear me.
Oh, we can hear you. We can hear
Oh,
you, and you said
okay, good. Now I hear you. I know
yeah, yeah, yeah.
technology,
Sorry.
you would think that after all the COVID years of everybody living on their Zooms, there will be better technologies.
Yeah.
It's
Here we
crazy.
are.
So
Yeah.
you hear me, you see the presentations, and you see it, right?
Yes, amazing. It's perfect.
Good, good. So I'm not going to hear myself. I'm opening the canvas. So if you have anything, just hop in, ask whatever. So basically,
Definitely.
everything I'm saying now, it's also many investors say it in their blogs. I've spoken with investors, and I've also, when I used to one-on-one do coaching, I used to sit in the investors' room in their ear. Yes, I've been sitting in their earplugs, or if it was a Zoom, I would be on the WhatsApp saying to them, say it, shut up, write it. So we covered that and this. Something first, very important that many founders skip because they're in a rush to meet investors. And this is such a valuable preparation step that sometimes just doing that can change the entire trajectory of your fundraising. So, I don't know how usually you prepare, but the way I teach everyone, and this is how it's best to be done. You you should fundraise from those that are most likely to invest in you. I will always screen for example, if I'm a seed founder who's building something in femtech, who's raising $2 million, and I'm raising it in Europe, for example. Okay, I will look for those investors that previously have invested in women, have invested in femtech, have invested in Europe, and that are usually giving out $2 million. Okay, not those that are giving 100,000 and not those that are giving 10 million. I will only look for those that are the perfect match. However, this is what usually is being taught, and it's okay. However, I will never approach them first because my first presentations and my first pitches will always be shit. My first Q&A session will always be poor. I will always lose in the first 5-10 meetings. If I'm really good, it will only be 2-3 that I will lose. But anyway, my first meetings will be the losing meeting. So I can never practice on uh, my go-to investors, my dream investors. And my dream investors should have something between the 70 to 120 investors, no more. If you have like 400 investors list, break it, nail it, leave the high match, this part of the queen, of the kings, leave them to the end. But you have to have at least 100, 150 other investors in your pipeline that are practice rounds, right? I love the Wimbledon because my husband is all about Wimbledon and tennis and Djokovic. But like practice, these are the low potential but high education, I call them, investors. They never backed a company in your company. Like for example, in Africa, they never backed an African company. They've only invested in the US or EU. They say that they're global, but when you look them and you research them, they haven't invested. They're generalistic fund. They never invested in femtech. They invest here. They invest in cloud. They invest in agriculture, whatever. They're very generalistic, agnostic funds, nothing specific to you. I would say that they should be investing in your stage. Don't waste their or your time if you know that they will never give a check size that fits you. For example, if you're raising a seed round of 2 million, don't go to funds that only invest in rounds B above 100 million. Okay, it's relevant. But if like because they can invest eventually, but they're so low potential that I will only use them for like rehearsal. They are my general rehearsal stage. I love these. I have zero expectations from them. I have maximum expectations from me to learn from being better and presenting, by being better at pitching, answering Q&A, leading the conversation, and etc. So this is my B list, but it's a valuable B list. Like they can surprise you. Maybe they will invest, right? So this is why I'm not going to those that will never invest. However, if they will invest, it will be like such a wow, that's nice. I did not expect that. I do expect them to be my rehearsal, and I need to be sharp there. I can do 10, I can do 20 until I have personally the conviction that wow, I'm ready for the next challenge, the semifinals of EU. I don't know how it's called, not Wimbledon. Then the next tier of investors, this is the warm entry investors. They have maybe an African company, they have maybe a femtech company. It means that they're already in some point. I do not have to educate them about my industry or about my situation in a way. Like if you're a woman who's building in femtech, and you know that there is a company who already invested in a femtech company, they're my warm entry. It's not like I need to educate them on in the industry. It's more I now need to have them conviction. I need to come there with already sharpened story because they can invest. My expectations there are still lower. It will be nice to have them as investors, but I cannot spend and waste their time. This is not a way, like this is not a rehearsal. This is the real game that if I master it, I'm ready for my next step. And then is the high match investors. For example, again, we're talking with you because you're in Africa. So I'm giving the African focused investment. These are investors that have proven that they're believing in Africa and African founders and African solutions. Okay, they have invested in ecosystems, in femtech from Africa, in fintech from Africa. They've already have portfolio in Nigeria and South Africa, in Kenya, whatever, because these are the hubs. So these usually will be your best investors. Like these are the creme, and then from there you need to even sift more for your specific industry, for your specific round, etc. Because these investors, you don't need to convince them that Africa is the viable and a good market. They need convincing that you are the one. And this is where it gets interesting. But if you're trying and to give it all you have on the low, you will lose because they will probably not invest, and then you will feel, oh no, I wasted my time. I'm not fundable. It's really hard for me to get funding because you're wasting your energy and your idea on early, on the wrong side. Another thing with your high match investors, like your dream investors, you have to start your relationship with them early. This is the key. You have to cultivate relationship. First of all, I'm guessing that if you're really here, you have LinkedIn. Start using your LinkedIn as a pitching platform without pitching. You tell them your founder story in a way that positions you as the founder who overcomes challenges. Tell your market story in a way that says that you know your market and that it's inevitable. Tell your problem story, and etc. Start your relationship with them. Ask them for it even before you go on your fundraising. Reach out to your dream investors. Ask them for a non-official pitching anywhere, ideas, whatever. I know that you have other platform. If I'm wrong, you can correct me, but you have the Big Deal, Partech Africa, Briga Africa, from what I saw, and other local angel networks. Start going on these events, get them to know you before you pitch them. Like, because when you reach them, you already have a really good ground and you're not a cold call, and your LinkedIn tells your founder story in a really good way, and your market story and your problem and your solution. So use your LinkedIn as a pre-pitching platform for warming up investors. So basically, this is a very part, because in the high match is where you close your round. You practice, you get your like start build here, maybe get the first angel or a first term sheet, and then go on the high match. Okay. Um, um, so this is the part. Now regarding, I know that's a Q&A, but it's a very important. And regarding the stages, you have investors for each stage. You have investors for the like I only have an idea, I need to build a stage, and to the more I already proven that I have traction and now want to scale and grow its stage, right? Each stage usually have their own type of investors, and this is why I said that sift through the preliminary. Do they invest in this stage type? Because investors that are invested in growth, meaning you already have traction, you have something, and now you want to expand to the entire Africa, you want to expand to Europe, you want to expand to US, you want to expand to adjacent verticals. Um, these are other type of investors that will be asking different questions, looking for different metrics, etc., giving different check size. The early stage investors are usually a VC, a specific type of VCs and angels. They know you are dangerous. They know that the idea, and they will be looking for different metrics and different steps and etc. But they will also take more equity of your company. So it comes like, you are more risky, and therefore they will expect for you to give them more. I will get to it a bit later. But just so you'll know, for every stage, you have a solution. And for every stage, when you need money and you have a really good problem, market, and you can get money. Okay. But again, practice warm entry high match. It's relevant for all the stages and for wherever you are. You want to practice and you want to start with your friends and family. Don't start with the hardest friend, but with the lots of money. Start with the poorest friend with the shitty money, but practice there, and then go to the friend with the money. For example, an idea. So next thing, okay, so we did the matching, which is a very important part, and never go into a meeting without the preparation and without, never use another thing. Never treat every meeting the same as the previous meeting. Never use the same pitch 100% for every meeting. What I always do, I have the basic pitch, and then I update sometimes the slides, sometimes the problem, sometimes I add, sometimes I remove per the investors and what they do. I'm talking about it here in the high matches. You want your pitch to be tailored to what they want to hear. Okay. So something that you really need to understand about investors. Again, I'm talking about the meeting already. We passed the pitch deck. They now agreed to meet with us, whether it's Zoom, whether it's in person, I don't care. It's not like they're evaluating whether I want to invest in a whole. Basically, if an investor already goes into the room, they want to say yes. They don't want to spend, to waste your money. Again, especially those that are they know that they're aligned. I'm talking mainly about those that want to say yes. They're looking for a reason to say yes. But they are eliminating, right? Because most likely they will not say yes. So these are the three things that if you lose in one of them, you lose the whole pitch and you will not be progressing to the next challenge. It's like the video games. First, your first 60 seconds. This is critical, especially for women. I'm sorry to say it now, and especially for African founders, especially after our conversation with Shifra, that I understood the mindset and the challenges specifically to you. However, the first 60 seconds, most founders go in the room and we say, wow, thank you so much for this opportunity. I really appreciate you making time, right? Because this is the polite thing to say. Bzz, wrong. Okay, so what you want to do, even with all of the biases and with all of the challenges, I want you to command the room. I want you to the investor feel like they're in a very competent hands, that they can trust in you instinctively without even understanding your problem yet, and without like this first second. um, so I call it the command method. I will get to it in a second. But basically, if usually you say, "Yeah, wow, thank you for the opportunity. I'm really excited to be here and share my company with you. You will soon hear blah 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 blah." You lost. It's sad, but you lost. The good way to do it is a very positive, not aggressive, but in a very positive, calm way. You say, "Good morning. So I'm here because we've identified a market that's been systematically underfunded, and we've built the only infrastructure that captures it. Here, why this is happening with or without you." It's a very nice reframe of, "Hi, thank you for your time." So what is it? So this is, for example, then you will lose if your whole pitch, and I'm not talking about the pitch deck. It's a very important thing. Your whole pitch of how you tell your story, how you structure the presentation, it's not like fundable, right? I see a lot of advice of how to be investor ready. I have to admit, I used to give the advice of how to be investor ready until I analyzed it all. And it's not like it's a matter of investability, it's a matter of, are you portraying a picture of this is happening with or without you? Do you get the investors to sit on their edge, sweating with excitement and terrified, like the FOMO, fear of missing out, of this is going to happen? This is the next unicorn. The market is right. I'm the right founder. The business is ready. Like, we know what you're doing. The roadmap is amazing. The next milestone is amazing. The finances, the ask, the P&L, everything is aligned and tells the story of, this is inevitable. My company is inevitable. Even if you're only in the vision stage, right? If you don't have any metrics to show on, there is a ways to show traction without showing traction. So like, but you have to, like, they have to feel it in their gut. Like, wow, if I'm not getting in this train, I'm losing the next big thing, because it's going to happen with or without me, and I cannot afford to miss out. So this is like, if you're not getting them to sense this is inevitable, not like, you don't even have to be super charismatic. I've seen founders that are like super geek founders, and this is, but the way their pitch and the market makes sense, and the business makes sense, and the product makes sense, and the problem is so well answered and articulated, and the market is so clear, and the way to reach this market is so clear. It's like the investors looking, it's like, wow, this is going to happen. I have to be on that. And the finances, including the ask. I'm beginning back, because I also think in Africa, all of the years and years of suppression of not asking enough, it's also there. The numbers and the asking and the finances need to articulate, this is going to happen, and this number is the what is going to make it happen. And the next, my favorite part, so many founders, men, women, I don't care, fall on that, because they're focusing on the pitch. They have the script for the slides, right? By the way, this is the reason, the Q&A reason, is why I moved from being a pitch deck creator, designer, storytelling, to the coaching side. Because after every pitch, I used to interview my clients, what happened. And many of them told me that they were like, yeah, they asked me a question that I didn't anticipate. So this is why I switched to the coaching, and it got me to rolling to where I am today, because of Q&A. You're focusing on the pitch deck, you have the script, it's amazing. You answered all of the questions that I told you, the why now, you commanded the room, blah, blah, blah. And then they ask you, but what will happen if Google buys your competition? Or if Google decides to enter? Or how will you or co-founder, what will happen if you two argue? right? Because when you're co-founders, you're in the honeymoon phase. What happens if your co-founder decides to leave? Or my favorite bias questions: how will you handle a work-life balance? Or I don't know what happened if Trump decides to do another tariffs, right? Lots of questions, or like those that usually collapse, and then it also connects to what you asked me in the beginning about defensive. They can also in the Q&A say, I just saw a solution that was very similar to yours. So what are you doing differently? And you start being defensive. So the way not to collapse in Q&A, because it will kill your pitch and you kill your raise, and can even, if you're not handling it right, it can even blacklist you because investors speak. So you can even be blacklisted from other investors already just because you didn't handle Q&A correctly. This is how it's awful if you don't handle it. For example, for every hour you practice your pitch, you need to invest 2 hours in practicing Q&A sessions, like literally like this. Because, and even if you know your pitch down cold, before every meeting with investor, practice your Q&A, the hard question. You know what, nowadays ChatGPT, I have it on my platform, of course, but even if not, get ChatGPT to play the devil's advocate and ask you the toughest questions, like those that you don't want to answer, and have a really non-defensive way of answering them and not argumentative, even if it's like, yeah, I just saw a solution just like yours, which gets founders really defensive or are brain babies. So if you fall in these three, you lost. In other things, you can stumble, it will be okay. Other things can be like corrected. You lose the first impression if you're too weak, you're too apologetic. If you don't paint the inevitable picture, and if you lose the Q&A in terms of how you handle, if you become into defensive, becoming like da da da, you lose this part. So we still have time, right, Shifra? I can speak about it like forever and ever and ever. So just quickly about the command, the first 60 seconds is like own your space, on your agenda, you start the meeting. The first, like the way I anchor the message of the marketing efficiency, we are the only ones building infrastructure and this is going to happen. Like your core thesis, your message, now everything they're going to hear, they will hear through this lens of inevitability that it's going to happen. It's amazing because this is how it happens. Interruptions. Women are being interrupted 4 times more than men. I have no idea how much in Africa, but I expect that for some reason it will be more. Manage the interruptions. If, for example, if you're now pitching and they're interrupting, gracefully return back to your pitch. There is a way to do it, but it's still part of the composure. Don't start answering questions before you're ready. Body language. It's not like you need to be, also this is a problematic, but it's like very calm, shoulders back, I own the space. Like even sometimes I do like guided practice of I own the space. This is my room. They're entering my space and I command them. I can get them to move. It's a very advanced trick, but sometimes when I need it, I practice it. And the convictions, your own convictions. I'm the person, I'm the company. This is going to happen with or without you. If you're not convinced on that, you're lost. So it's part of your preparation. And always redirect to a plan, even if it's only a vision, if it's only I have an idea. But if you tell to yourself that it's only an idea, you're lost. Think about it, let it sink in. However, if you say this is an idea and I have a plan, it's a crazy ambitious plan. It's a crazy. Nobody really did it before. But I believe in the plan and I believe that I'm the person who executes the plan. You're going to make it. If you only say to yourself it's only idea, you're lost. Also, another mindset that many founders don't do, and this is you're there to evaluate them. They may be the person they may be the people with the money. However, you're not certain you want them in your life, because getting an investor is getting somebody in bed with you, that you want to evaluate, are they qualified to be part of your vision, are they qualified to give you money. It's right, it's kind of like a different shift. Are they, what do they bring to the table, what do they have that is added value? So it's a very important, so everything that we said, you're also evaluating them, and if you want. Sorry, it's the AI ruined my power, but I like it. Remember, what investors are looking for, are you the unicorn? They know that out of like 100 investments that they will do, 99 will probably fail, but they still, and only one investment will cover the whole fund and make them super awesome, incredible. However, they will not invest in you if they don't think that you are the next unicorn. So everything that you say, your inevitability, your presence, your, again, everything that we mentioned gets to this one point. Are you the next unicorn? And are you the one that's going to get all of the returns together? Once they're convinced, you will get their money. They're not convinced, you will not get their money. Okay, they will not invest if they think you will be one of the 99. They know that you will have 99, but they're not looking for the 99, they're looking for the one, taking into assumption that you most likely end up in the 99. So just in like a mindset about Africa, if you're going to outside of Africa investors, remember, you have the highest female entrepreneurship rate globally. It's amazing. Um, your African VC world, it was very surprising for me to learn. It means that you have lots of potential inside of Africa. It grew 70 times in the last decade. It's amazing. It means that the money is also flowing. It means that they have more successes and that you have more cake to eat from. With that said, you're only 0.9% of the VC funding in 2025. So the way I see it, you have a lot of potential to grow. Let's go kick it. And remember your mindset. It's not like I'm building from Africa despite the conditions. I'm building from Africa because of them. And this is what will make me successful. Okay. Now about the Q&A, because I'm kind of like running low on time. Just a quick one. I'm writing a lot about it, so you can also check on my LinkedIn about the flip and Paris, specifically flip. But these are my two methods of power core methods of how I'm treating the questions. How will you handle it with family? Is Africa ready for this? How will you manage the diverse ecosystem and the different regulations, right? And there's also tough business questions of your runway is only 8 months, your lifetime value is low, like specific tough questions that are not related to being a woman or being underserved. In both of them, it's pretty much the same thing. However, with the bias questions, you always face it directly. You always link it to strength. You always illustrate with data that proves your strength and your vision, and then you always get them back. The reason is that every biased question and every prevention type question is costing the founder around 3.8 million in funding, and women are being asked prevention questions 2.5 times more. So all of these examples I can share with you later. Again, we don't have time, we have Q&A. But every hard question, if you practice it and everything, it builds your inevitability, because in every time you pivot a vision and you redirect them to whatever. So basically the inevitability, your market definition, and the way you're going to capture the market is inevitable. It's going to happen with or without you. Your business is inevitable, the way it's structured, the model, the financials, etc., the scalability, that the fact that you're taking everything into account. You as the founder, you're the one who's going to do it. You're inevitable. You're the one who's leading it. Nobody else can do it without you. You command the room. You know how to answer tough and biased questions, and you have the positioning. I know it's a lot, but it's possible. It's just like tackling each one after the other, and where all the 6 laid up. The result is that the investor will be like, it's like, how am I getting on this train? I cannot lose it. I cannot be the one who missed this opportunity. I cannot be the one who didn't invest. And then you're interviewing them. Okay. So basically, the main shift I want you to leave here is not that am I ready? Am I investable? Am I whatever? Well, use this, apply this. And when you are like, I'm inevitable, this is inevitable. The market, like, this is going to happen with or without, you will see that, like, the only question you're asking yourself is, are they smart enough to get in? So yeah. Okay, Shifra, back to you. I'll have a drink just a second. Yeah, I know it's a
Thank
lot,
you so
but
much, Anna.
hours about it. Sorry. I really tried to maybe
More time.
I really tried to focus myself. It
I
was much longer. I had to like focus on the main thing, but this is the main thing. Yeah. So
yeah.
questions, go ahead.
Yeah, true. I really wish we gave you more time because I feel this are you're dropping bangers into us, and this some questions coming in. I can just read it to you and you can answer them so that we can keep up with time. It's only two
Yeah,
minutes.
I know.
But next time we'll have Anna on board and we can keep these questions coming in
And
because they can
also, just
also
so you'll
hit on
know,
your
I don't know if I
DMs
have the
too.
time, but like you see the Pink Spark or free tools. I have like 17 free tools that you can use there. And
Hmm.
even if like check how inevitable you are, right?
Yeah.
So just start there. The flip you can practice a couple of times, and etc. And of course, on the platform, whatever. Yes, ask questions.
I see Joanne is asking, what makes you believe in a founder before the numbers make sense?
The founder. The numbers again, like
Yeah,
the numbers can tell whatever story you want them to tell. It's like it's really upsetting to hear that, right? It's like we have in Hebrew the saying like Excel
yeah.
absorbs all. So the numbers, basically, you can get the numbers to tell any story you want, but you need to make the story work. You
Yeah.
need, like, this is why I said start with the problem in the market. If the problem in the market don't align, and the problem is not something really burning that people are really asking, really want to solve, and the market is not big enough,
Yeah.
and you as the founder are the inevitable,
Hmm.
the numbers, no matter how beautiful are, they will not make sense.
Oh, very true. Let's go to the next question. Can you get funding for an idea that hasn't yet started, like zero experience?
Yes, however, I said it like I mentioned, you can get funded for anything. Like in the fundraising, you have the friends and family and angel rounds, which is the very beginning and later. The main challenge with the early stages is that you're going to give out a bigger, much bigger chunk of your company. And if you're building a unicorn, it means that you will have several funding rounds before you reach the a crave exit point, whether it's an IPO when you go public, or whether you sell out to another company when you know. So you will have different round. Each round will leave you, the founder, with less percentage of the company every time you raise funds. This is the cost of money. So like if you're really starting as a business, first don't go raising go to accelerators. They will take less. Go whatever, learn how to start a business. So when you have an idea, and a plan, and an inevitable plan, you will have better chances of raising cheaper money.
Oh, that's
And
amazing.
grants,
Um,
especially like lean into grants. Like in Africa, you have lots of grants. Lean into the
so
free tuition money.
amazing. I think this is the last question there. Someone is asking, are VC using your idea after the pitch, even if they don't choose your venture to fund?
There's always a chance. Like, the collective awareness idea, that if you thought about an idea somewhere, somebody else thought about it the same time in another place in the
Yeah.
world, like we're connected collectively. It's the
Yeah.
same here. It's
Yeah.
like there's always a chance. However, I will not, unless it's like super, super duper, I don't know, took you $1 million to develop it kind of like solution and it's super sensitive. I will never send an NDA to an investor before pitching him. I will prepare because ideas are cheap, but the execution is the one that's betting on. So I would
Yeah.
send a
True.
teaser deck that doesn't have anything sensitive in it
Yeah.
and just trust that I'm the one that's going to make it happen before everybody else
True.
is making it happen. Again, unless I already invested like 2 million in it and it's a very secretive patent IP. If it's not that and it's just like an idea for an app, never cap the NDA. The investors hate it.
Amazing. Thank you so much. I really wish we had this session, but we're looking forward to a workshop. And also for those people who have been here for quite some time, we have a residency happening on next month, and also Anna will be part of the amazing panelists who will be judging on the pitch night that we'll be having. So make sure you register and be on the waiting list for the ladies who will be attending the founders residency in the in Kenya, Africa. So we have more questions coming in. Do you know about
It's in
501c3?
US, it's charity one, it's specifically don't go there. It's not for VC. If you want VC money,
Okay.
don't send me
Viola
VC.
asks, yeah.
Funding based on simulation, this is the question, so I'm kind of jumping in. Of course, you can get funding on everything as long as you have all the other things that we mentioned down cold. The problem, because you can have the best simulation, but you don't have a market for it, you will not get the funding. You have the best simulation,
True, true.
but you as a founder don't make it inevitable that you are the one who lead it because there will be problems even if you have a simulation. So if the investors don't believe in you as the person to lead it, they will not invest it no matter how the simulation works. The simulation, if you have everything down cold and you have a simulation, it means that the cost of money will be cheaper to you. You will have to give out
Yeah,
less of the company eventually.
very true. More questions coming in. Please send in the questions before we finish this up. And thank you so much for really being here. I know this means a lot, not only to me, but also to different founders who are here in Africa. As I was telling them, we are the okay, the Founders House Africa. We said house to give it an African accent instead of
It's good. I love
houses.
it. It's good.
So we're building.
Own it. No,
Thank
it's
you
like it's
so
part of
much.
the owning. It's
Um,
amazing. It's part of the owning.
So what we're doing is we're building residencies for founders to build solutions out of problem statements in Africa. So we don't want you to westernize the products or the solutions that you want. As you have had, as Anna has said, something that has really surprised me, it's that she said that the venture capitalist has rised in the past decade at 17 times. It's something that has fascinated me today, and which means that we have more investors coming in to invest on African solutions, and this encourages us as founders and founders here in Africa to continue building solutions and to continue creating solutions for ourselves and also to market them outside. And I feel like you have inspired a lot of founders here today. And I am going to welcome you again because I feel like we've given you a shorter time
I can
and
speak hours
we
and
would have
hours.
done better on that also.
And again, I also
Actually.
first I love what you're doing with Africa. It's so valuable, so important, and I'm really happy that we connected. With the best things about LinkedIn technology is
Thank
that
you.
we
Yeah.
connected and that I can inspire and help you reach more founders and get more founders funded. And in the meantime, always, like, there is a reason I
Yeah.
created so many free tools in the platform is because I know that not every founder is ready for the
Yeah.
fundraising rate, but they just want to play with it. And also, this is why I also made the platform super accessible,
Yeah.
another $1,000. And I even, if you'll allow me, I can even like maybe specifically for your residency and for your funders, whoever is ready to fundraise, I can give them a special discount just because I want more African founders funded, specifically women.
Thank you
Guys,
so
don't
much.
be. And another thing, which is I didn't cover it, but anyway, I have a lot of talk. You can always follow me. I really share lots of value because I want more.
Please to share the links. Share the links on the comment section so that everyone can have access to your free tools and platforms. And
Good.
yes, definitely, we are going to work with you on the residency, and the women in the first residence teaser will definitely get a glimpse of whatever you have in depth, because I feel like you have so
Amazing.
much wisdom to share. We have some links popping in. I wish we had the link before. So if you want to be on the Founders Spotlight in the Founders House Africa, make sure you scan the code that's on the screen. I don't know if anyone can see it, but there's a link right there. Scan the code if you want to be Founders Spotlight.
And we lost you. Technology is yet again. So yeah, you want me to wait? It's always good. We came back. So just to wrap this up, thank you for having me. I'm really happy to speak here. I really like looking forward to our next sessions and to hearing the success stories coming from the Founders House of Africa. Really.
And thank you so much. Sorry for the delay. I have a network lag at the moment. And please, definitely, we should work together and see how we can support women founders who are around here in Africa. Thank you so much, Anna. And please, if you
Thank you,
want to join the
everybody who
waiting
joined us.
list for the African, please scan the links and make sure you follow Anna and ask for any advice that you need in your startup.
Amazing. Bye.